My intention today is not to give a class on ADHD, but I do just want to touch a tad bit on ADHD and medication. Some of you may already know that I deal with autism on a daily basis, and it's something that I've talked openly about on social media. Now, ADHD, I deal with on a daily basis as well. I just haven't, I think there's a huge stigma around ADHD and medication, and people kind of giving it a negative vibe, you know? And so forthcoming with talking about it. But I'm going to start to talk about it because I realize that it's a huge thing. Well, in a lot of groups that I'm in, it's a huge thing. And so one of my children deal with ADHD and has been for a long time. Now, ever since going back to kindergarten, I've been hearing the story of being overactive and things of that nature. I'm not really going to get into the whole story. That's probably like for Facebook Live or a course or something of that nature. But I've basically been dealing with it for 9 to 10, or not, probably like 8, 9 years or so. Now, I was a single mom for a lot of time, a lot of years before I met my husband. So I was a single mom for about 8 years. So things weren't like the most stable up until that time, but I'm not saying that that's the reason for the condition. I'm just letting y'all know, like, for those of you that are single moms and y'all watch me, like, I know what it is. I lived it for 8 years with 2 children. And there were issues when it came to school with my child's behavior and just a lot of things that he was doing. And up until the point until where he had to be hospitalized at one time, and other times I couldn't bring him to school unless I took him to the hospital. And I remember the last time I had to take him to the hospital, my father had passed away. But this is something that I had to deal with. And because things were so bad at the time, the doctors suggested medication, and of course I was against it. Like, I didn't want my child taking medication, and I was just against it. But I decided to try it out, regardless of my biases or regardless of what anybody else had to say. I had to do at that time what was best for my child. I received a lot of slander for it, of course, by family. I just received a lot of slander, and then even people on the outside, but Dr. Umar, Jabbar, whatever, and I was just being blamed. Oh, if you disciplined him better, if you just beat his ass, all that kind of stuff. People used to tell me, blah, 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 blah. And for reasons like that, many parents struggle with getting their child the help because of the negative stigma, because of being blamed, and people making them feel as if they're bad parents, as if they're not doing their job because their child have this issue. That's the problem. That's what needs to stop. And this is why I'm going to start talking more about ADHD. So at this time I was living in New Jersey, and then I moved to New York. So when I moved to New York, I had to get everything sorted again, and I let him take whatever he had left. And then after he didn't have any more medication, and eventually the teacher was calling me like, what is going on? And then I was just like, he has ADHD and he's prescribed medication, but I didn't give it to him. So I wanted to see how he was going to do, and blah, blah, blah. And behavior never got better. So eventually I got him a doctor and put him on medication again. And by then, this was kind of the second grade when I was still in denial. So sometimes I would give him, sometimes I wouldn't. And then in the third grade, the same pattern. He would have medicine, he wouldn't have medicine. And, it would be the problems. So after about 2.5 years of like playing games and experimenting, for the fourth grade, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let him rock out. And it may have been maybe 1 or 2 days where they seen him without, and they noticed the difference. So fourth grade, like, I really let him rock out. So now fifth grade, I'm like, you know what? We got this. He know better. He knows what's going on. I'm gonna let him rock out. First week of school, I spoke to the dean. I spoke to the guidance counselor. I was like, look, I spoke to the teacher. I said, look, we gonna try this. It ain't last too long. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just let him rock out. Just let the boy rock out. And I bring this up because every time, or the few times that I have spoken about ADHD, people are like, oh, did you try something else? Did you try changing the discipline? Did you try changing the food? Did you try an alternative medicine? Did you try herbs? Did you try this thing? Did you try that thing? And no. I mean, I've tried to change how I did some things, yes, but I had to put my biases out of the way and do what was best for my child. I tried to do it my way for some years, and my way didn't work. And at this point, I'd rather have my child succeed in school than to fail and to have all of these issues because of my biases. My child is very smart. My child is very talented. My child is a 90s student on report cards and state tests. Okay, when I check the computer, 90s and above on all his state tests from the previous years, this year's. So who am I as his mom to let somebody else's biases or my own biases interfere with school? Like, yeah, I don't like the fact that he's on medication. Yeah, I hope that one day I can, through therapy, he'll practice self-control so that he can focus, because that's what the issue is. He just, with ADHD, it's like they have like 5 TV shows on in their head and they have to figure out which one to focus on. That's ADHD. But there are different degrees of ADHD. So fortunately, it's only one medication we deal with. But I had to set my son up for success. So I know how it is or what it is to suffer in silence when you have to deal with this by yourself and nobody else understands. I'm here for you. Send me a message. We could chat it up, okay? Do what's best for your child. And that's what I can tell you. I can't tell you what to do or what not to do, but you know your child best, okay, because they live with you. So you see the things that's going on. Now, I'm happy to tell you, my child does not take medication on the weekends. My child does not take the medication during the summer. He only takes it in school. Because a kid is a kid is a kid is a kid. But in school, I need him to focus so that he can get his work done, pass his grades, and move on with his life. But parents, do what's best for you and your child. Okay? Hey, it's me again. So one of my stories earlier didn't post, but I want to thank everyone that has downloaded my free ebook for 10 ways to manage stress as a busy working mom. It's not too late. If you have not signed up for my free ebook, be sure to swipe up, check it out, or click the link in my bio. You can have a sneak peek at the introduction on my IG profile. So check it out. You're going to love it. You're also going to be included in a 7-day email series, which I will share some more of my story, which you have never heard and will probably be super shocked if you heard. So just be sure to check out the free ebook, the 7-day email series. You're definitely going to get some aha moments and hopefully some things that you can put to use in managing your stress as a working mom with several kids and the stresses of life and all that good stuff. So check it out. Give me a feedback. Thank you.